Last time on my Workbench video, which has been a couple of weeks from now, I had laid out these tenons on one of my pieces. So since then I've come back and kind of laid out more of these tenons here. Let me show you real quick. So these two pieces go to the on the bottom rails, bottom stretchers on the bench. So which is why these are a little longer. These, and then these two go on the top, which is why they sit flush with the workbench legs. And so this is kind of what I have going on. So you can see I kind of started chopping this one. But I am doing a video on preparing the sole of my router. So because to get this thing to fit into the tenon, I need the hand router to fix it. So I'm going to not be able to do that today because I am actually working on it here. So this is the sole of my router that I am applying some finish on. So this is almost ready, but I'm going to be applying some finish on this thing so I can use it. That video comes out on Thursday. So I have a knife wall all around the shoulder, and then I have the gauge that I had said the last time. I kind of marked that and put some black line on it for you to be able to see on both sides and on the end here. But this is just the 2x4 that was cut by the machine when I bought it. But anyway, so I'm just going to come in here and deepen the knife wall by creating a trough for the saw to sit on. And that's deep enough. I think I'm gonna deepen it just a little more, just to be very sure that my saw sits on it perfectly well. I'm not going to try to undercut the tenon shoulders. I want them to be pretty perfect. And just to save time, I'm going to do the other side as well. I'm not trying to find the knife wall, I'm just trying to bevel in, and almost not going to the knife wall. But when I flick this off, it splits at the knife wall, which is really nice. So I bring the knife in again, and I deepen this thing. The knife rides on the surface here. So this is the thing that I had mentioned before. The knife has a double bevel on both sides. So if I keep the knife straight, the bevel is sort of pushing the blade away. But I need this side of the knife, or this side of the workpiece, to be very, very exact. So what I do is I cant the knife a little bit, so the bevel on this side of the knife is kind of straight down, perpendicular to the workpiece. I cant it just slightly so I can get right into that corner, and it'd be perfect instead of it being further away because of the bevel. I'm just using hand pressure, but I could have used a mallet. It's fine, you don't have to be very perfect with it. I love these little chips that come out. Having a sharp chisel really helps here. So with the saw, what I'm going to do is make sure I don't go below my line, because that weakens the tenon. But at the same time, I need to go straight down, and I'm going to almost try to go at an angle towards this way, because then I can pare down the shoulder straight down, not going to undercut going this way into the workpiece. Very light. I'm almost not doing any downward pressure with the saw. I'm really just giving it some, pulling it, being very delicate with the saw at this time. And this is just me training my body. Over time I'll be able to do it with a lot more confidence, but right now I'm just training my body and learning how the saw works. Slowly drop my hand so the saw falls into that trough that I just made. You can see that my saw is pretty well sitting in that trough, and the wall that I made on the outside is pretty straight. The saw is not cutting into it at all. So I'm going to drop my hand this way now, while keeping the saw registered on this face that I just sawed. I'm at the line. Alright, you can see that I am just above the line just a little bit. Maybe a 30-second. I'm just going to leave it there. That is good enough for the saw. It's a pretty clean cut. I'm going to go over to this side and do the same thing. Okay, gotta be careful. I'm right on the line, a little above the line on this side. We're right on the line on this side. Just gotta be a little careful with that. Shouldn't get overzealous working with the saw. So now I'm going to try to pare this tenon off, and I should check first. So I can see that this grain is fairly parallel. It's almost going away. This grain is fairly parallel here. This grain is, they're all kind of very, very parallel grains. So this is a good candidate for chopping chopping the tenons off. So the shoulder that I just saw, it almost acts like a stop cut. I'm going to come in halfway just to check the grain direction. And I'm going to chop. That's going fairly straight down. Come back to this side and see. That went curved a little bit towards the inside, but it's still pretty straight. So I can go in here now with confidence and chop. And then join these two. That's most of this tenon cut. Well, not really. So I'm going to go back in. Now I'm going to go be with confidence, going very close to my shoulders, and I'm going to keep my shoulders a little fat. Or sorry, I'm going to keep my tenon a little fat because I had trouble chopping the mortises without the guide. So I'm going to be doing the final fitting on the mortises. I'm going to keep this, try to be as flat as possible, and see that it's alright. See, oftentimes the unchopped wood on this side kind of holds this from splitting. So when I make my cuts, I like to go in and just start the cut so I can get that sort of the crack in the wood move down, and then come back and twist and kind of, you got to work with the wood, not against the wood. The wood is not your enemy, and you shouldn't treat it that way, because then it takes a lot of effort. You got to work with nature, not against nature. Now I'm being very careful as I'm getting towards the bottom here, because if I keep hammering and I don't realize that I've already hit the shoulder, then I could split the rest of this piece here. So I'm kind of being very careful there. Same thing here, I could go down, but I don't want to hit the clamp because that'll damage my chisel. There. Clean this up a little bit. Okay, this side is good. I'm gonna try to just do it the same thing on the other side. Well, I can shape the rest over here. Just using hand pressure. I'm getting pretty close to the line, so I should be careful there. And you see this little the little knot-like thing in the middle of the tree. This wood is just so bad. It's amazing how bad this piece of wood is, but I'm gonna make it work. See, I'm going bevel down now because I want to control the depth of the chisel. So the next things that I need to do is to fit the tenons in there, and I'm going to do one by one. But I think just to save me some effort and time, I'm going to go ahead and do this kind of a rough cut on all the 8 tenons here, and then just kind of do the fit on all of them one by one. So that way I am kind of building some muscle memory as I'm going. So that's going to be the next thing that I do here. Again, like I said, my router sole needs to be fixed. It needs to be finished. I just put a couple layers of shellac on it, so that video comes out Thursday. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I post some pictures on Facebook, Instagram when I'm making progress in this workshop. So be sure to check it out over there. Like and share my video if you found this helpful. If you know somebody like the woodworking junkie who doesn't know how to build mortise and tenons, maybe he could use a few pointers here. So I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a good week.